UK for Good is one of the most popular video on my YouTube channel. It has the highest number of views and the highest number of comments, which is very unusual on my channel. So I got curious to want to understand why so many views, why so many comments. And I also got some remarks from people which were not true, that I said that I'm leaving the UK because it's horrible. So here are some of the reasons why then I left the UK. And by the way, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're just seeing me for the first time, my name is Tari Rachel. And please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and leaving some comments for me in the comment section. On today's video is a reflection on that video, leaving the UK for good. I'm gonna give a summary again of the reasons why I left the UK, but at the same time, because of so much views and comments, I got curious to want to understand why. So I'm just gonna be going through some of the comments on that video, and I'm happy that a lot of people resonated with what I shared. So if you missed that video, you'd rather watch it or just sit back, relax, and enjoy as I share these reasons. These are personal reasons, yeah. A lot of people are doing so well in the UK, and the UK is one of the most beautiful countries to live in, especially if you know your purpose. There are so many opportunities that comes with being in the UK, and the UK played a very critical part in my life, like contributing in my life, be it academic wise, be it skills that I've gained. Like, there are a lot of positive things to say about the UK, and my reasons for leaving, trust me, they are not negative. It's just something that is personal, something that I couldn't cope with, and that was like a push factor for me to then leave the UK. So one of the reasons that I mentioned is that just the idea of being tied to an employer, for me, it didn't sit well with me. I realized that when you are tied to an employer, they are the ones who determine your fate or your stay in that country. So for me, it made me more anxious because I didn't want to mess with my employer, and I just tried my level best, to be what can I say? Like, I didn't want trouble with the employer, but at the same time, it was making me feel anxious all the time when I'm working. So just that idea of being tied to an employer, for me, I was like, if I can find opportunities that can allow me to be just me, like just me, not being tied to anyone, I would appreciate that. So that one was like also a push factor. Still on that one, where you're on certificate of sponsorship, like you're sponsored by an employer, it simply means doing the same job for whatever years you're being sponsored for. And for most people, they were aiming at 5 years, right? That's when you at least have your indefinite leave to remain and you're now flexible to look for any job. So that idea of doing the same job for 5 years for me wasn't what I wanted. And considering that I was doing support work, I couldn't see myself doing it for 5 years or even for a year. It was really difficult for me to do that job. So I had to, make up my mind, find other ways, at least to just leave the UK and, see what I can do with my life, because I can't be doing the same thing for 5 years. I'm someone who likes change so much. So even if it means I'm working in a certain profession, somehow I would like to, be moving, be growing, and all that. So being on sponsorship, for me, it meant doing the same thing for at least 5 years, which is something that I couldn't keep up with. The other reason that I gave was the working environment being toxic. I've been to so many workspaces in the UK. From ever since when I was a student, I would do part-time jobs. I've noted that the work culture is almost the same in any space. One of the things is people wanting to report each other so much, like looks like people go to work to report each other. And even if you do a million beautiful things the whole day, and then you mess up just 1 minute before you finish work, that's big trouble for you. Nobody acknowledges the good work that you did, and nobody also acknowledges that mistakes are common. So that toxicity for me, that culture where people are just there to, spread negative vibes, the managers and the leadership, like it's just for me, it was just a toxic work environment, and it was affecting me emotionally, mentally, like it was just draining, and I couldn't see myself doing that for so many years. So that was another reason as well. The other reason that I gave was around immigration laws, which keeps changing. Like their immigration laws are not stable. Um, I was a student in the UK. I was affected by those laws at some point. For example, that law where they would say that you can't bring dependents, and I had a dependent on my visa, and them renewing was going to be a challenge. And at the same time, also bringing my children after finishing my studies also was not possible. Like it was affected. It wasn't the initial plan. So the fact that they keep changing their laws and policies around immigration, it would always keep me, like, make me stay on the edge, if you know what I mean. Like it was unpredictable. So just that process on its own, where life is not certain, and recently they started talking about moving years on IOR to getting IOR to something like 10 years, 15 years. So the fact that their immigration laws are not really stable, I was always anxious. I was always looking at the news, like, so what's happening? So what's new? And to be honest, it's something that I really didn't like. Also, still on ILR, I also mentioned that the cost of ILR, I looked at it. I have a family of four. So that time the cost was around £3,000, and of course, excluding any money related to paying the lawyers and stuff. So a family of four would require £12,000, which, to be honest, I couldn't afford. I couldn't afford £12,000 when the time comes. So I thought if I could find other opportunities that doesn't require much money like that, I'd rather go for those opportunities instead of sticking in the UK just for IOR. And even if I would get IOR, in as much as I would be flexible to find any job. This gets me to the other point. I was not going to be able to practice in my own profession. Why? Because I've noticed that they protect these, like, professional jobs so much that even if you manage to penetrate in the system somehow, they will find a way to push you out. So for me, paying that much money for IOR, and also knowing that I won't be able to work in my own space, in my own field of practice, was like a push factor as well. So I was like, well, I just have to find my way out and look at other opportunities that allows me to practice in something that I learned. I'm one person who invested so much in my education, so I would also love to see those skills gained being in use. So that was another reason as well. Um, the other reason is I was working in a profession which is low skilled, and by low skilled, it would translate to earning minimum wage. And with minimum wage, it would mean that my money wasn't enough. It was very unfortunate that I stayed in a city, I mean, a town, a small town, a village actually, which was close to London. And the cost of living there was very, very high, very, very expensive. So earning minimum wage, it means all the money would go to bills. Then I had to look for a second job, and the second job, I was working in a care home. It was really tough, like standing the whole day, doing the manual handling. Like for me, it's something that I couldn't keep up with. So at the end of the day, I was so exhausted. I was very tired. And there wasn't that I couldn't get, like, work life balance, because I'm from one job to another. And that time it was just me and my husband. I didn't have much time with him, so I was imagining, if I'm to bring my children, then how am I going to manage? Because I would leave home as early as 5 or 6 and come back as late as 10 or 11 p.m. So I looked at that scenario to say, okay, in as much as I want to be here, I want to be working, when I bring the kids, what is going to happen? Okay, my husband is going to support with childcare and everything. But is this what we want as a family? Are there no other opportunities where we can, live a comfortable life, but at the same time spend quality time together? I don't know if that makes sense. So that was my situation, and I was like, I can't be in this environment because it is not offering, what I want. And also by work-life balance, just having that choice, to say I want to work maybe Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday, maybe 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, and then weekend I'm home. Um, because I was on a sponsored job, I didn't have that choice. Like whatever the rota they make for me is what I work with. And if you want to start, asking for moderations to your rota, then somehow you're calling for trouble. So it didn't work for me, and I was like, okay, I have no option than to live and find other, opportunities that can offer me what I want. The other reason was the weather. As funny as it sounds, trust me, I believe the weather contributes so much to your well-being as a person. And personally, being Zimbabwean, um, I'm used to good weather, if I can say. So the gray skies would make me feel so miserable. They would make me feel so depressed. Even if like nobody does anything wrong to me, I would find myself crying. Like I would just be crying. I'd just be grumpy. I would be moody. And because of the rain, of the cold, I would spend so much time indoors, tucked in my blankets. And I would do this maybe 9 months in a year. So I was like, I'm not gonna be happy. I just need something different. And that's why I made that choice. It sounds really funny, but for me it really wanted me to be just out of that space. To be honest, these are personal reasons, which may not make sense to others, and others may not resonate with them. It's okay, and I respect that so much. But for me, this was my story, and this was my motivation to live and find other opportunities elsewhere. And in all this, UK still is a beautiful country to live in. It offers so much opportunities when it comes to personal growth as well. It is a good ground for that. And that was it. So after seeing so many views and so many comments on that video, I had to go back to it just to see like why so many views, why so many comments, and until now there is so much traffic on that video. So I got so curious to understand the reason why so many people are attracted to that video, and because of that, I then decided to just do this video and also go through some of the comments and share with you guys. So these comments, I just picked random comments. They are not in any order, or they are not themed like to focus on a particular theme. I'm just going through random comments or random reactions. This one is saying, I was also in the UK for my master's in 2022. I came back on the graduate visa and stayed for 18 months and made the decision to leave COS. I also didn't want the issues of COS. I loved to work for myself, and I didn't also like the idea of working for someone. Um, I was also tired of their very volatile immigration laws. And I tell you that ever since I got back to my country, I felt so much peace. No waking up at 4:30 a.m. to start work at 5:45 to close at 10 p.m., coupled with the very stressful nature of the job, racism. I kept questioning myself if I could survive the job and for how long I could put up with it. So this is someone also who was sharing their personal experience working in the UK. Um, this one here says, "You nailed everything. I've been here for only close to a year, and I'm asking myself, can I be doing this for 5 years? The answer is no. Otherwise, I will collapse. This is so draining and not worthy." So I also resonate with this comment. To be honest, it's doable, but it needs so much resilience and courage. Whoever is in this situation, trust me, I encourage you to to keep going on, to persevere. No situation is permanent. At some point, it's gonna come to an end. But yeah, for me, really, it was really draining, so much draining. Somebody here says, "Is the uncertainty that kills us more? UK alone is depressing. Then, with all the pressure again, right now, it's not worth it." So, in this case, she was referring to the pressure around the change in immigration laws. That uncertainty that comes with the change in laws. It's really, really discouraging, especially when we are in a foreign country. This one is saying that home is the best. My house is done now. I'm saving some money to take with me in 5 years. I'll be home enjoying my life. This country is eating us alive. This is not how life should be. Hannah here, your analysis is spot on, dear. Sometimes we need to look after our mental health. Do what makes you happy. Your health and your happiness matters. I always, make a joke to say that words like depression and anxiety, I only got to know them when I moved abroad. I know in my home country we are depressed, we are anxious, but nobody really talks about those words, to be honest. And I only got to know about those words when I moved abroad. Here someone is saying, everything is fine until you have a manager that is always fault finding. It is toxic even for citizens who are ethnic minority. The managers manipulate the system. I understand you 110%. Many claim to be fighting against bullying, but the managers manipulate the procedures. I think this has been an experience for many where those company owners, especially care company owners, were really abusive, manipulative, as well as bullying their staff. But because you are tied to that employer, sometimes you can't do much, because the next thing is they revoke your sponsorship, and you receive that email, you're left with, is it 90 days, and you start looking for another sponsorship. It may come with moving to another city, and if you've got a family, you know what that means, you know what that change means. So yeah, that was something as well that I couldn't keep up with. This one says that where did it go? I truly resonate with you, my sister. I'm a South African in the UK, not even a year yet, and I was hoping to be able to save, but I honestly don't see myself staying here much longer. The UK feels toxic in so many ways and is taking a toll on me. Psychosocially, I feel completely drained. Yeah. Hello, my sister. I can relate very well with your reasons for leaving the UK. Life abroad is not as easy as it looks until you get there and work minimum wage jobs, face loneliness, racism, and harsh weather. I'm leaving Canada too for good in August, and I'll never come back here. Well, this is someone in Canada also resonating. It looks like these countries are the same. What do you think? Here someone is saying 100% true. I agree with your reasons. especially the looking for faults in everything we do. Toxic, very toxic, and yet we have one life. Being tied to a sponsor is sickening. The changing of laws that just makes us worry all the time, too much tension, and I'm another person who's signing out soon. This person is resonating with the video. The workspaces, I've talked to a lot of people. The workspaces are sometimes really, really toxic, which is discouraging. Like, you're not motivated to go to work because of the working environment. And also being tied to an employer, changing immigration laws. Yeah. Um, you are not alone. Even the jobs that are not minimum wage is just work and sleeping. When you get home and on weekends, unosquera wakarara, as in you spend the whole day sleeping because mentally and physically you are just tired. So this is somebody who's not working in a low-skilled occupation, and they are saying that even in those highly skilled jobs, um, when you are off, you're always sleeping because physically and mentally you are tired. So yeah. Um, Finally, someone saw things the same way as I did. I left 2 weeks ago. Also, blessings. So this is somebody who also signed out. Mm, wow, you spoke it out in full-fledged truth, without wasting anyone's time. I love this video. You spoke the mind of the majority, regardless of the passport or IOR. People can still live in peace. This one is saying, I agree, especially when you say dependent partners have to be extremely strong to accept any menial job that allows them to earn and balance childcare. So this was a reaction to the part where I said that I found that for dependents, no matter how qualified they are, they find it difficult to get the jobs that they qualified for. And at the end of the day, most dependents are pushed into these low skilled jobs. I've seen for most men, they end up doing care work, or they end up working in warehouses, or sometimes doing deliveries, which is really exhausting. And for somebody who had a good profession in their home country, then coming over to do such kind of jobs because the system doesn't welcome them, trust me, it's not a good thing. And if you are a wife, just seeing your husband physically drained doing all those type of jobs, trust me, it's like taking off their, I don't know how to put it in English, but exactly. Yeah, yeah. What you are saying is absolutely true. I can relate as well. Many people, especially back home, won't understand, but it's fine. I'm a student, but in Russia. I'm working part-time somewhere, and not like you work hard to earn. Mabasa acho ndiwaya maminiao ekusuka maplates factory. He is saying that you know what, guys, I'm becoming emotional just reading this comment of this student who is in Russia, because I was once a student. Besides the UK, I was once a student in the Netherlands, and yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. You are so spot on with everything. Work here in the UK is that you are always on the edge, especially in the NHS. So this is somebody who's working for the health department in the UK, and she's saying that she's also always on the edge. That's the workspace mostly in the UK. Disclaimer: this is not for everyone. I know some are working in very good environments. I know some they are really enjoying their lives, but for some it's the opposite. This one is saying I can't wait for that moment of buying one-way tickets. Yeah, I know this person. This person is in United Arab Emirates. Um, Finish the video. Very informative. It's unfortunate some of us really have to push through until 5 years. Okay, so this one saying they want to push through until 5 years, and you are right. It's not even certain we are going to have the indefinite leave to remain. But yeah, it is what it is. Stay blessed. I wish you luck. This is the situation for most people. Like they don't have options, and they are left with no choice but to stay. That's why I come with encouragement to say that just hold on, just persevere. Like no situation is permanent. This too shall pass. This one is saying, I'm not in UK but in Netherlands. Moved from South Africa last year. Worst decision ever. I followed you from TikTok, just waiting for my daughter to finish high school, which is next year. But unlike the UK, the work-life balance is great. Work hybrid, no weekend jobs, but the house chores high ngeke shem. Yeah. I've stayed in the Netherlands, like I said. I'm glad this one is working in a nice job where she can actually work from home. In my case, I was a student, and the jobs that I did, like I said, I don't want to talk about them. It makes me really emotional. Very good video. Your points are spot on. As an immigrant on this place, regardless of skills and qualifications, you struggle to get top jobs. Strict, overpriced cost of immigration processes. Then after all that, paid basic wage, toxic work environment, sadness, low quality of life, loneliness, mental health issues start to kick in. Then you get old and realize you haven't lived. Hence why I'm in my 40s and decide to go back home to Jamaica. Wow. Strict overpriced cost of immigration processes. Then after that, paid basic wage, toxic work environments, sadness, low quality of life, loneliness, and then mental health starts to kick in. Then you get old and you realize you never lived. Wow, this is touching. This person is from Jamaica. I wish I could leave this place, but I'm just trapped. All the best. Well, just hold on, just feel encouraged that it is well, and like I said before, this too shall pass. It's not gonna stay like this forever. Here there is a Shingi. She's saying, thank you, Tari, for summarizing everything. As a dependent who is also a scientist, I can relate that the white collar environment, like it's not easy to penetrate. Whilst you are black, because they have safeguarded it with pit bulls, electric fence, and barbed wire. Hence, we are forced to do manual jobs, which are physically draining. UK is not for people who think in other terms. Personally, I don't see myself last here for a long time. You know what? It's really discouraging how they have protected these professional jobs. And no matter how skilled you are, even if you get there, they will find ways to just push you out. If you are to compare with other countries, to be honest, people can work in any space and well accommodated, well accepted. And I don't know why in the UK they don't want us in those whatever jobs. I don't know. Um, this one is saying, well said. The changing tendency of UK immigration laws is one of the major reasons I prefer other places to the UK. I like this comment. Do you know what? There are other countries where you can go with direct permanent residence without even worrying about this changing. I know every country has a change in immigration policies at some point, but just looking at how UK does their things, to be honest, is not fair. Like, I feel it's not fair. This is my personal reaction. You just don't change things all of a sudden. I find it really offending for one to say, well, this is a work visa. You're not supposed to be bringing your families here. You are here for work. Like, seriously? Like, that's being mean? Like, it's a work visa. You're supposed to be working, not bringing your family. Like, does that make sense? Like, okay, let me not analyze this. Most look at one mistake and forget about the million good you do. Spot on that. So this was a reaction to the statement where I say that how I've observed the UK work culture. Like, you do good the whole day, and then maybe you mess up 5 minutes before work, then you're in trouble for forever or for good. So this is the comment, that they forget all the million good things that you've done and they focus on just one bad mistake and you're in for it. Tese, meaning all of us are planning to live. I mean, tese, like the majority of us, right? Some of us maybe are planning to live this kind of life. True, the system here is discriminatory. 99% of us are no longer healthy after all shit weather. So when he's saying that 99% of us are no longer healthy, I was one of those people. When I was in the UK, I started having pain under one of my foot, and I also had back pain, and my shoulders. I don't want to say they were in pain, but they were heavy. Like, I realized that I was having so many new sicknesses that I never had before, and yeah. What you are saying is really true. Yeah. The weather, only one normal month, that's only May. The system doesn't integrate us, honestly. I've tried having a second job. Delivery jobs is not for everyone. Like, you may feel like crying. Google telling you that you have arrived at your destination. Pasango Japo, that's like, looks like a bush or wrong place. That social grandma parcels, like, it looks like you may go back with those parcels. So this is a delivery, like a guy who looked for a second job is a delivery guy, and he's saying that it's not easy. It's not easy. This one is saying the burnout and sedentary lifestyle all in one. Yeah, especially if you're working 2 jobs, the burnout is just too much. And this one is just laughing to say all types of weather in a day. Yeah, you get to experience all types of weather sometimes, of course, in a day. And like I said, weather contributes so much to somebody's well-being. Yeah, their systems are not designed for us Black people. I feel the exact same way. I lived in New Zealand for many years, and I'm living in Australia now, and the hard life never changed. Still busy and no time for family, and I have a master's degree, no job because they prefer their own. I'm leaving for Zimbabwe very, very soon, by God's grace. So like I said, this situation It's not just for maybe people in the UK. Like, looks like all these countries have almost similar issues. So this person live in New Zealand. They're now in Australia. It's still the same for them. It's very unfortunate that they are going through this. Yeah. This one is saying the UK has become a death trap. It is a country that is unveiling. Unliving the people that live and work in it. Oh my God. Okay, I think you understood this one. ah, um, lucky you, you got options. Most don't have the choice. So yeah, I always say that life should give us options. And personally, I believe that education also gives us like those options. So I invested so much in my education so that, you know, I have an option. Yeah. Um. Whew. There's Charlie here. He's saying that guys who came with us as engineers, having applied for engineering jobs, were made to be inspectors upon arrival and earning less money. Yeah. So moving to the UK as an engineer, you're put on a lower level, an inspector, like why? Like what's that? That's why I always wish if I was a fundi, so a fundi, like if I was educated. But I'm lazy to read books. You definitely think outside the box and for the future. Well, I've just said this before. I believe education doesn't make you rich as people want or think, but at least it gives you options. If something's not working for you, you have an option to, say goodbye and start something different. Yep. It has worked for me, and I'm encouraging you to try it. Well said, sis. I recently migrated from UK to Australia. Stayed in the UK for 8 years and a half as a social worker. I had my fair share of struggles. It's not easy at all. And by the time I left, I was in a survival mode. I have my British passport and enjoying Australia. The difference in work-life balance and paid overtime. Enjoy and well done for choosing me. Wow. I like this statement. That's why I also chose Australia. Of course, we read another comment of another person who was also complaining about Australia. That's why I said there are some people in the UK who are really making it, who are liking it, who are really enjoying their lives. Same as Australia, there are some people who are doing so well, and of course, there are some who are saying this is not the best for me. So situations always differ. That's why these are all personal opinions or feelings. Chronicles here is saying UK is depressing. I regret coming here. The sooner I realize that as much as this country is glorified out there, it's not favorable for black foreigners. I earn £2,500. I'm left with £180 after bills. I'm here not because I want. I'm stuck here. Worst decision I've made in my life was to come here. Whew, this is big. Yeah. This person is earning £2,500. They're saying that they're left with 180 after everything, which I'm gonna believe. Why? Because if you are to live in, some areas, especially close to London, or even southeast England, the rentals are very expensive. You can actually pay 1,700 for a 3-bed house if you're for a family. So once you add the bills and everything else, you're left with nothing. I know some people will be arrogant enough to say, why not switch? It's not as easy as you say it. Trust me, everybody wants to be in that good space, good environment, low spending and all, low cost of living and all. But it's not always as easy as you may say it or type it in the comment to say, why not switch? This one is saying toxicity is the order of the day in the UK. Well, I'm not the only one saying this. Toxicity is the order of the day in the UK workspace. This one is saying time flies. 5 years is nothing. After that, you'll be free. Life is not meant to be easy. And here we are, still battling news around changing the 5 years to 10 to 15. That's why I said before, like the laws are just unstable. So look at this person here. They are very hopeful that 5 years is nothing. It will be over. And then 5 minutes later, they are saying that we are now moving it to 15 years. Like, it's not fair. People have hopes. People are expecting. And then you just disappoint them. I left the UK, moved back to Grenada since 2016. Living in the UK is a slave trip. Wow, nothing to add there. This is why I am. Oh, this comment. Okay, I'm gonna read it at the end. I'm almost done. I think I'm left with one comment. This comment is saying that on the issue of children, UK doesn't equip our children to be level-headed, resilient, self-esteem, and learn to use common sense. It makes children look like sheep. They follow without making a judgmental conscience. The system makes them not to have confidence in themselves. Okay. I didn't have kids in the UK, so I wouldn't know. I'm gonna leave this comment for the last. I've got 2 comments written by British people here. So, the first comment is saying, we Brits want you all gone. Like us British people, we want all you out of our country. Well, I'll reply to this comment and say, you are not Home Office. You don't tell people what to do with their lives. And the other comment is from another British man as well. His name is Max. He's saying, this is why I'm furious as a British person. Someone like you who is productive and wants to contribute is driven out by ridiculous regulation and laws. But an undocumented criminal and swim across the channel and get a free lunch indefinitely. This country is screwed. Everything is backward. I'll be joining you soon. Okay, guys. I love this comment, right, by this British guy, right? He's referring to all of us who are immigrants in the UK to say that you contribute, you want to contribute, right? You are very productive, but look, ridiculous regulation and laws pushing you to go. But those undocumented, migrants, they get hotel accommodation and stuff. So guys, I've come to the end of just random comments that I picked from this video. Like I said, Living the UK for Good was the most popular, is the most popular video on my YouTube channel with the highest views and the highest comments. And it just got me curious to want to understand why so much views and why so many comments. What are people talking about? Looks like the majority of them were resonating with the video. And like I said, the reasons that I gave, they are personal to me. They don't resonate with everyone who's staying there. For some, they are doing very well, but for some, they are struggling. And to be honest, in every country, in every space that you go to, you will always have those binary, differences to say this population is doing well and this population is struggling. It happens everywhere. It's normal. But for me, I was like, this is not for me, then I'm signing up. So thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. Yeah, I hope to see you on my other videos. Bye for now.